Hey, my name is Taylor. Welcome to A Million Ways to Vegas. This is my first video on this channel. It's day one of a trip I took to Vegas earlier this year. Let's get right to it. The entire reason for this trip was that my wife, Lindsay, was attending a conference. And since I love Vegas, I basically got to tag along and have a solo Vegas trip while she was working hard. It's not really fair, but I made it up to her later. We stayed at Fontainebleau since it was so close to the main Las Vegas Convention Center. This was my first time in my last 12 to 15 trips to Vegas where I didn't stay at Caesar's Palace. Fontainebleau is beautiful. It's new, it's clean, and I think I'm going to do a whole separate video on Fontainebleau at some point in the future. The first thing we did after checking in was to head upstairs to the Fontainebleau food hall for bagels, coffee, and hash browns at El Bagel. We had a bagel sandwich called the King Guava. It was $12. It had a fried egg, plain cream cheese. It had this guava marmalade, potato sticks. It was absolutely delicious, and I would highly recommend it. At this point, my wife was able to check in for her conference, and I was on my own in Vegas. I didn't do a ton of gambling this first day. It was mostly running around, taking in the sights with a few cocktails and quick bites along the way. I grabbed a car and headed downtown to Fremont Street. I always like to spend at least half a day downtown, sometimes more on each trip. I started at Circa, made my first stop at Vegas Vickie's for a cocktail. I love how the bar has the fully restored Vickie looking over it. I ordered a drink called the Gingerbread Man. I think it was left over from their holiday menu. It was actually, it came with a gingerbread man as a garnish. And, you can't beat a cocktail with a built-in snack. I took a quick walk around the casino and found my dad's favorite double top dollar machine. I threw down $30, lost it very quickly. I should probably mention at this point, Vegas is normally something that I do with my dad and a little brother. We've been going to Vegas since I was a kid, and the two of them are usually with me in Vegas. It's kind of a family thing. But this time I was pretty much solo while my wife was at her conference. After Top Dollar took all my money, I headed next door to Plaza to have a look around. I love the new additions to the outside of Plaza with the giant carousel bar. I still haven't had a drink here, but maybe next time. From here, I took a walk down Fremont Street. Downtown Vegas is always such a trip. Like, amazing people watching. There are people riding zip lines. Under the canopy, there are people dressed as gorillas dancing. I love to just wander down Fremont, weaving in and out of the casinos and around all of the wacky street performers. It's truly like a one-of-a-kind experience that you just don't get anywhere else. I made it to the other end of Fremont Street and dropped into El Cortez for a quick round with Huff and Puff Money Mansion. Put $30 into the machine and was down to 30 cents and hit the bonus.
Engine feature on the last spin we had. At $1.30 left. Let's do it. We need a re-trigger. Gold house. Alright, let's see.
A whole 12 bucks. Just keeping things honest around here. I hadn't had anything to eat since the guava bagel thing earlier in the day. So on my way back to the Fremont Street canopy, I stopped by Evel Pie for a slice and a beer. A little tip for downtown, a lot of people know this, but Evel Pie is the perfect snack or meal when hanging out on Fremont Street. This is easily some of the best pizza in Vegas, and the weather was perfect. They had the windows open, the pizza was delicious, the beer was cold. It was a perfect spot to just sit, relax, and regroup before the next stop. Before heading back to the Strip, I wanted to check out a new cocktail bar called Gulch Tiki. I'd heard a few people mention this before my trip, and I wanted to stop by, have a quick drink, and check it out. I had their Mai Tai, which is, I think, maybe the most classic of tiki drinks. The vibe was quiet. They had just opened, so it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But I really enjoyed all the decor, and I could see this being a place that could be a lot of fun later in the night. It was back under the Fremont Street canopy over to the D, mostly just because I know right where their rideshare pickup is. Called a car and headed back to Fontainebleau. I basically had time to change my clothes and get right back in a car bound for Caesar's Palace. My wife had a conference-related dinner at one of the restaurants in the Forum Shops, and I kind of wanted to wander around Caesar's. Caesar's Palace. My last 12 to 15 trips to Vegas, my dad, brother, and I have stayed here, and it sort of feels like a second home to me, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but outside of my home in Nashville, Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, is probably the place I've spent the most time in recent years. I know my way around the weird back hallways. I know where all of the restrooms are. It feels comfortable to me in a way that no other casino does right now. We've got some new areas, new high limit rooms, new carpeting, a new bar. There was a giant area of the casino that was actually blocked off where all the machines had been removed. I think they were about to replace the carpet. So I've been back since, and it's actually all back how it should be with brand new carpeting. Again, I needed food. My favorite place for a quick bite at Caesar's is Bobby's Burgers in the food court. Fried chicken sandwich is definitely the way to go, with fries, of course. I wandered outside to check out the fountains and the flamingo neon. I love the flamingo neon. With so much neon disappearing from Vegas and being replaced with LED lights, I always have to appreciate the flamingo each time I'm in Vegas. Taking in classic neon was a great ending to my first day. Not a lot of gambling this first day. This was more of a roaming around, exploring day for me. After my wife's conference dinner, we caught a car back to Fontainebleau and crashed for the night. Stay tuned for day 2 of my trip. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe.